my name is Jana, and I'm from Mission Range Library. Today we're going to be making holiday greeting cards using Microsoft Publisher 2016. We're going to be making two different greeting cards. We'll make one from scratch and one using one of the Publisher templates. In doing this, we're going to be inserting and editing images, shapes, and text boxes. So we'll learn about the contextual tabs in Publisher and also about Publisher's workspace. So let's go ahead and open up Publisher and get started. The first thing we're going to be doing is building a greeting card from scratch. So you can just open up a blank document, and you can see that Publisher has some similarities to other Microsoft products. So they do have the tabs across the top that you can scroll through to get different editing options. There is a Pages view that's going to give you a quick overview of your document here to the left. Publisher includes both vertical and horizontal rulers and scroll bars. And of course you can make your document smaller, larger, using the zooms over here. The first thing let's do is let's go ahead to the page design, and we are going to change the size of our document to make it a greeting card. So we'll need to go all the way down to more preset page sizes. And you can see there's a whole folder dedicated to greeting cards. So let's open that up. And we're going to be choosing one of the letter-sized options. So you can see there's a couple of different half folds to choose from and several different quarter folds that all work with letter-sized paper. So I'm just going to choose one of the quarter folds and we'll click OK. And Publisher's asking if it can insert additional pages into my document, so I'm going to tell it, of course. So now you can see we have a greeting card format over here with our front page, our middle fold, and then our last page. The next thing I'm going to do before I start inserting pictures and text boxes and all that is we're going to change the color scheme. So Publisher defaults to this regular office color scheme, but that's not very holiday-ish. So I'm going to open up the different color schemes we have. And there's actually one called Mistletoe. I think I'm going to go with that. You, of course, can choose any color that you want. And with that done, we're going to go ahead and just start putting in pictures and text boxes and making it pretty. So we'll come here to the Insert tab. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a picture. And this is just going to open up your computer document so you can insert any saved pictures that you have. We'll start with this wreath. And the first thing I want you to see is as soon as we inserted this picture, we got an additional tab up here at the top, this Picture Tools Formatting tab. And this is what I was referring to as a contextual tab. So this only shows up when I have the picture selected. If I click away from the picture, you can see I lose my picture editing tools. But as soon as I select it, I get that tab that comes back. And this allows you to adjust the size, crop the picture, you can layer it with other pictures, sending it forward and backward, align it within the document. You can add a border, change the color. So lots of different editing options. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller so it fits in the middle of the page better. And I can actually type in the size that I want right here, but I am going to grab it by the edges and resize it this way. This is just a shortcut, and I always do grab it by a corner rather than one of the top or side edges because that keeps the perspective of the picture. Next, I want to put it in the middle of my page, so I'm going to use the Align tool. And you can see that all my alignment options are currently grayed out, but if I select Relative to Margin Guides and then go back into it, now it gives me all these different alignment options. So I'm going to align it to the center of the page and also to the middle of the page. Alright. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to insert a shape just to give it a little bit more interest. And I'm just going to insert a rectangle and just kind of make a border here. And you can see when I insert the rectangle, it covers up my wreath. But again, using this contextual tab, and notice for the rectangle it's drawing tools, not picture tools, but it has a lot of the same options. So I can send my rectangle backwards, and that lets the wreath pop through. I can also change a lot of things with the fill, the outline. Publisher has some preset ideas, so I'll look through those. I like that. I would like the border to be a little bit thicker though, so I can change that using the shape outline. And I can come down here to weight and just make it a little bit thicker. I think I'm also going to add maybe a shadow effect on it, just to kind of give it a 3D look. And I like that. Alright, we're going to move on to the other pages of the document. And in doing this, I mentioned the work plane, the publisher work plane. I want to go ahead and show y'all that, so I'm going to shrink my page down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and select my shape, and I'm going to right click and copy it. And if I paste it, you'll see I'm going to drag it over here into the work plane. And when I click through the rest of my document, you'll see that I have that shape there, and I can easily just pull it back in to any of my other document pages. Anything you have in the work plane is not going to print out, but it will be there available for you as you go through the document if you just want to quickly drag something into the document or out of it. So think of it like if you're scrapbooking on a table, the workplace is the table around the card that you're making. Alright, let's go ahead and work on the centerfold sum, so we'll go ahead and just insert some text. And I want you to see that both under the Home tab, you have this Draw Text Box option, and under the Insert tab, there is a Draw Text Box option. They're the same thing, doesn't matter which one you use, but when you click it, you'll see that I can now click and drag to make a text box. And this gives me two different contextual tabs. It gives me Text Box Tools that allows me to edit the text, and it gives me Drawing Tools that allows me to edit the shape around the text. I'm going to go ahead and just type, we'll say Happy Holidays. And I'm just going to do some basic editing to that. Of course you can make it into word art very easily. Or you can come over here and just adjust the size and font yourself. We'll make it quite a bit bigger. And let's make it a nice bold font. Sure. I do want to use the alignment here to align it into the center of my text box. And I think I'll also change the color. Let's make this one green. And maybe I'll move it up on my page just a little bit. I like that. I'm going to insert a second text box just below this. And we'll say Portland County Libraries. I'll center that as well. And I think that I will make this red. And let's use a nice handwritten font, maybe a little bit bigger. And it's a little bit of a thin font, so I'll go ahead and bold it. And I would prefer that to be on two different lines, so I'm going to go ahead and just shrink my box down a little bit. You'll notice when any text box turns red around the edges, what it's telling you is that there's additional text in that box, but the box is too small to display all of the text. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger lengthwise, and that'll let us see all the text. Now I'm going to click and drag it to the middle, and you'll notice that Publisher has these handy alignment guides. And so that's showing me that if I let go of it, that this text box is aligned to the center of my top text box, which is exactly what I want. And there you have it. The next thing I want to do is we are just going to look at some of the pre-formatted parts that Publisher has. So Publisher has page parts and borders and accents, where they insert text boxes or paragraph holders into the document that they've already formatted for you. And they also have some different borders and accents. So just things to be aware of in case you want to use them. I'm going to go ahead and use this interesting pink line here. And again, when your mouse shows these 4 arrows pointing in all directions, you can click and drag an object anywhere on the page that you want. And you can always click and drag the edges. I know earlier I said I usually grab from the corners to keep the perspective, but since this is just lines, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to grab it by the edges and make it longer. And we'll make it a little bit thinner as well. Make sure I have it in the center, and there we are. So that just gives it a little bit more visual interest. Let's go ahead and go look at the print preview and see what that's going to look like when we print it out. There we go. And you can see it's just going to print out on one page, and then of course you'll get to fold it or cut it so that it comes out appropriately. So those are just some basic tools to make a holiday greeting card, and that is how you make one from scratch. Let's go ahead and open a new document, and this time we're going to use one of Publisher's templates. So we started under the Featured tab. Let's go to the Built-in tab, and this is going to be all the different templates available in Publisher. So we're going to go find the greeting card templates, and you can see there's lots and lots of greeting cards to choose from. I'm going to say let's look at all the holidays. And again, lots and lots of options, so you can pick whichever one you like. I'm going to go ahead and choose this Christmas 2. And I want you to see that you can go ahead and adjust the color scheme, the font scheme, the size of your document right here if you want to. If you go ahead and hit Create, you can still adjust those things under the Page Design tab. Okay, so this is the template. You can see it's already got some pictures, some clip art, some text boxes inserted into it. Templates are a great starting place if you're looking for ideas, or even if you're just wanting to borrow the pictures from the templates. And they're very easy to add to and customize and make your own. So let's go ahead and customize this one a little bit just by adding a text box to the front. And for this one, we'll say something like Greetings. Again, I'm going to center the text, and I think this time I'll use word art. Let's see. This is kind of a fun one, but it does need to be quite a bit bigger. So, let's see what that looks like. I'm going to make it bold and just change the font. Let's see. I think the font in the rest of this template is Perpetua. So let's just be consistent. Okay, and I like that. You can see that the word art gives it some shadows, so it gives it a 3D effect. Let's move on to the center. And you can see that we've got 3 different text boxes here. So as you click on them, oh, you can see that there's some additional text in this one. You can tell because the edges are red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this snowflake out of the way, put it onto my workplace. I'm going to move my Merry Christmas over to this side, and my nice little Christmas quote over to this side. It should line up there. Okay. And I'm going to expand this box so we can see the full quote. And then I'm just going to adjust this a little bit, just add some color. Let's try blue. Let's make it a little bit bigger. This is the main point of the card. And we're excited about this, so let's add an exclamation point. And then we'll just add some color to this as well. And then since this is my actual message, I'll do like handwriting style again. And let's try some different colors here. Okay. Move this up. You can see it's trying to help me align with the objects on the opposite side of the page. Come down here and do okay. And then on the back, we've got this made especially for you. If you don't particularly like that, you can just click on it, delete it, click on it, and delete it. Not always okay, so we'll go ahead and leave it there. Alright. The one other thing that I do want to show you is I would like to show you how to take clip art and pictures and kind of create some variance and visual interest. So there's this snowflake that's inserted into this template. I'm going to take it. It's in my work plane. I'm just going to copy it and paste a whole bunch of different right here. Okay. Kind of move them apart so I can see them easily. Alright, and I'm going to make 3 different sizes with my snowflakes. We'll make a really big one, we'll keep one the same size, and then we'll make a really tiny one. I'm going to copy my big one and paste a couple of those. Move those around so I can see them clearly. I've already got my medium size, and then I'm just going to copy my small one and paste a couple of those as well. Okay, and then I'm just going to start dragging them into my publication. Okay. Maybe we want to put one down here. And I want you to see how the different objects interact with each other. So the snowflake has kind of bumped my season's greetings out of the way. And there's a few ways to fix that. The easiest way is probably to take my snowflake, come up here to my contextual tab, my picture tools, and I'm going to send it backwards. I'm going to send it all the way to the back, and that lets the text stand out on top of it. So then we'll just add my medium-sized snowflakes roundabout. And you can see again it's causing the text to move around. So I'm going to take that snowflake and I'm going to send it backwards as well. And then I'll just move my tiny snowflakes here, just wherever you think looks right. And again, sending this one backwards. Okay. The other thing that's kind of fun to do with this, of course you can adjust the size. You can also adjust the color. So I like to come into the picture tools and recolor the different objects. So maybe that one I'll make a little bit brighter. This snowflake down here is kind of making it difficult to read the season's greetings, so I'm going to make it pretty light. And that's easier to read. And let's just give these all some different colors here just to kind of make things pop visually. Maybe one more really bright one. And of course you don't have to use those default colors here. You can always use more variations. or picture color option, so you can, choose your picture and be as, play around with it as much as you want. But it just gives you a little bit of variation. It's a simple way to take just a very simple piece of clip art and make something visually interesting out of it. So that brings us to the end of greeting cards in Publisher. Again, these are just a few basic ways to edit shapes, edit text boxes, and really make things your own. There's so much that you can do with this. This is really just a way to get you started. So I hope you enjoy, and tune into our other videos. Thank you so much.